This episode of The Unseen Hour is sponsored by Rossum's Universal Recruitment. Are you tired of posting ads for your small business only to find that all of the applicants are weak and fallible humans? With Rossum Universal Recruitment, you don't need to trawl the usual websites. Simply fill out your requirements, and you will be supplied with a workforce of tireless, unfeeling automatons to operate your small business. And RUR's better-than-human support staff is available to help you out 24/7. Rossum's Universal Recruitment, making humanity obsolete. And Necropants! Necropants is Carcos's premier supplier of cadaver-based fashion and accessories. Necropants are incredibly comfortable, they're horrifying to look at, and they produce an endless supply of money. Subscribe with offer code ONTOLOGICES, spelt the usual way, and when you receive your first pair of Necropants in the mail, you'll also get a Hand of Glory at no extra cost. Necropants harvest all of its materials from tried and convicted murderers. Necropants! Clothe yourself in a literal second skin.
If you enjoy The Unseen Hour, you're going to love our other podcast, Tenebrous Thule. Tenebrous Thule reaches into the listener's unconscious mind, latches onto what it finds there, and drags it glistening into the light. One listener described Tenebrous Thule as, "Oh God, what have I just listened to? What can I now not unhear? They've taken my cherished memories and changed them into something unspeakable. How have they done this? And why?" Remember, though, you can't find Tenebrous Thule on your podcast app. If you're supposed to hear it, it will find you. And speaking of elusive content, we love to hear from our listeners. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and YouTube. Just search for Unseen Hour. You can also support us on Patreon, or get in touch through our website, unseenhour.com, or come down to Vault Festival in Waterloo in March, and see us in person on the 8th of March.
Can you tell me what it all means?
Shut your eyes. Stop your ears.
What the devil? What's going on? I don't understand.
It's not an easy thing to understand for such a stupid pit.
What are we going to do now?
How about that?
Perhaps I have the answer you're looking for. Perhaps not.
The first time I heard the podcast, I thought it must be some kind of cruel ruse. When I started to investigate, I very soon learned that it was much, much more. For the Carcoast Broadcasting Company and Unseen Things Productions, I'm Rufus Strideforth, and this is the Unseen Hour Files. Days ago, I awoke in my charmingly disordered and fashionably minimal Carco's bed's apartment, and immediately noticed two things that were not as they should be. You see, I'm an independent freelance professional investigative journalist. And in addition to my infallibly true and unbiased sense of ethics, I am extremely observant and notice when things are not as they should be. First, there was a set of files on my desk of which I had no memory. They were labeled the Unseen Hour files in my own handwriting. Second, my fine tweed suit was absolutely drenched in salt water. After changing into a fresh set of tweeds, every bit as fine as the first, I began to sift through the files. It appeared that I had been afflicted with a terrible amnesia whilst investigating a mysterious podcast. I learned that a podcast is much like a painting. But instead of the visual spectrum, it uses sound waves. And instead of existing in dimensions 1 and 3, it exists only in dimension 4. That's the simplest way I can think to describe it. From my notes, it seemed as though my best leads always came from a mysterious and rude hacker who went by the handle Emoji Perch. I called my friend and producer at the station, Balthazar Scruffleguts, to get her contact details.
Well, congratulations on episode 2, Rufus. The numbers are really quite good. People seem to like the Unseen Hour files.
What? Oh, yes. Yes, I'd almost forgotten that we were already broadcasting already. Now, Scruffleguts, you elegant rascal, you.
Oh.
Could you give me the contact details for the hacker, Emoji Perch?
Oh, gosh, I'd love to, Rufus, but she doesn't seem to be in the index.
That's strange. She's mentioned in my notes. How about Professor Elmore Kent at the university?
Let me see. I have Kirkos University Register here. It should be... No, there's no one by that name. Sorry, Rufus.
Over the next few hours, I checked up on all the sources and names in my notes. Not a single one was traceable. My entire investigation, nothing but ghosts. I was just losing hope when Scruffleguts called me back. Hello?
Rufus, I've just found a recording that fell down the back of your desk here at the station.
The Unseen Hour?
Yes, it's labeled The Unseen Hour Files. Looks like you lost track of this one.
Oh, you might say it's an unseen hour files file.
Precisely.
Mightn't you? Yes.
Very good. Yes. Now, I've cleaned up the recording as best I can. See what you make of it.
Stratford! The Unseen Hour. My podcast enjoy the first couple of episodes immensely exciting and strange plot development. There's got a couple of things you should see. Real almost code the secret message. Meet me at the corner of Ratflute and Labretta with a midnight of 20 past. Click and tag what not.
Oh my God. No, I'm sorry. What the devil is he talking about?
Yes, it's quite a peculiar dialect. As far as I can tell, he wants to show you something relating to the Unseen Hour. He wants to meet at the corner of Ratflute and La Brea at 20 past midnight. What do you think?
What do I think? I think it's a lead.
I was hoping you'd say that. I'll meet you there.
What a lovely chap. As 20 past midnight rolled around, I approached the designated corner. But I wasn't alone. I started my portable recording device. Okay, I'm just arriving at the meeting, and there's someone following me. It's a small, narrow-shouldered man in a raincoat. I'm going to go around the block and just try to lose him a bit. Okay, yep. I'm walking a bit faster. But he's speeding up too. I'm just gonna. Okay. If I duck under here, and if I just go round, I don't think he saw me go this way. Yes, I think I lost him.
Indeed you did, my dear. But you've strayed into the part of town where lost things turn up.
Who are you?
Hello.
Look, I'm your friend out here. I don't want any trouble.
Oh, what a lovely set of tweeds you have, my dear.
Stay back! I'm a journalist!
Come here!
No! They'll probably cut to some other audio here.
I was just trying to buy a really massive lamp, but a very big, sort of very, very large lamp. One of those sort of lamps that you sort of look at once and sort of go, well, I think that's quite big, and then you sort of walk around and do a sort of almost a double. And you go, yes, that is big. That's a fucking massive lamp. And it sort of knocks the breath out of you a little bit. It was then, in the middle of this, that the atmosphere in the room slightly shifted, I think. This microclimate sort of imperceptibly changed, and I couldn't quite work out what it was. I just was still carrying this anger. I'd been having this argument with Carl earlier on that must you, he kept saying, must you. Must I what, Carl? Must I what? Must to buy this? I know where you're going with this, Carl. Must you buy this massive? Yes. You don't have anywhere to put it. You don't actually, to be honest. You haven't been round for a bit. Space, Carl. And so there I was in the present, purchasing this lamp, and it's sort of one of those lamps. The middle of it's very solid, sort of oaken pine. It's thick, real, tangible thing, and the large shade is so round and almost, in a way, bulbous is the word, and it's really large. And I was at that point of purchase, and I thought this should be easy. It shouldn't be that hard to buy a really massive lamp. I think you should just be walking in and saying, "You, sir, man, why, man, I'll have that massive lamp," and pointing to the biggest fuck-off lamp in the middle of the room. And he simply goes, in this case, it was Jason, a little name tag, so Jason. It's over-earnestly handsome in one of those sort of, like a squeezy pot of honey, but with no honey in. What's missing, Jason? And I wanted to just take, you just think you'll just give me the lamp. Here I am. I have a need. I have capital. Give me the fucking lamp. But it's harder than that, and I'm getting a bit uptight. And I think back to Carl again, looking at me. We're finishing our cortades, and he tipped his beret. "What is it?" he said. "What is it you're trying to fill?" "What, Carl? I mean, what? What are you talking about? What is it that you're trying to make up for by buying a massive lamp?" "Carl, you haven't really considered it," he said, and he put down his dog. "You haven't really..." "You haven't considered spatial dynamic, you haven't considered wood-to-metal ratio, you haven't considered windows, you haven't considered the piano, you haven't considered anything." "Carl," I said, "for crying out loud, I just want to buy a massive lamp. That's all I want. I'm not making up for anything. I'm not filling a hole. I've not got anything missing. There's no great, vast cleft within me. Just want to buy a fuck-off massive lamp. That's all I want to do." And later I found out about this particular lamp. It's designed actually by a committee, equal male to female split, and they fly them out. It's a quite exciting plane ride to Svalbard, and they stick them in the dead of night. They find the darkest night of the year, and they stick them in this log cabin, and they lock the door, and they say, "Right, the brief is you can't come out until you've designed a really, really good lamp." And I think, in a way, it's a bit... It's a good thing to do with interns, but it's a bit barbaric. But you do get a really, great lamp out of it. So, anyway, there I was, and I went, I bought it, and I went back home. And the problem is it comes... They take it apart. They'd have to take it apart. Like, I want a massive lamp whole. I don't want it dissembled and then delivered to me by a man called This one was Henry. was a burly chap, needlessly so. Functional muscle, I wondered the ratio of, I wasn't sure, but he had this sort of relatable northern twang. So I let him in. And in he brought the massive lamp in small pieces and set them in the middle of the pinewood floor in the drawing room. And then he left. And the door shut. I had it engineered so the sound comes out. So it just went. And I sat there and I tried to put it together, and I couldn't. And the phone went, and it was Carl. Carl, I said, I'm a bit stuck. Don't worry, he said. I could hear him picking up his dog. I'm sending you a task rabbit. You're what? I thought the line had gone. It was some cashmere, no task rabbit, he said. And the phone went dead. And I tried. There was a manual, but it wasn't an IKEA manual. It was a manual with just a picture and screws and little arrows, like a sort of torturous Dead Sea Scroll. And I tried, and then you arrived. And by that point, I said, I can't put it, my massive lamp. And you said, well, that's all right, in the calmest way that I think I've ever seen anyone be. I said, I think I screwed in that massive bit into that big bit wrong. It's all right, we'll unscrew it. And so you did. I'll need your help, though, you said. It's a very big lamp and some of the parts are quite heavy. Okay, I said, pulling myself together. And so we, bit by bit, piece by piece, instruction by instruction, created the lamp. And when we'd finished, I was different, I think. I don't know. And I remember so well, you and I stood there, and you said, it's very big, isn't it? And I said, yes. It's a massive lamp.
What? Where am I?
Question yourself. Look ready to crawl over by the time I got to the front of his dead. And taking a trip to the London on it. Handsome friend.
What?
Hello, Rufus.
Oh.
Colonel Mops here has been taking care of you. Seems you had a run-in with a local gang.
It was a horrible thing to wake up to, Scrafflegut.
Yeah, I know, he's odd.
Are we on some rooftops?
No, that's quite right. Just brought you up here. Just thought you'd want to see. See, I was telling you. See if you can read Morse code.
Morse code? Why, well, yes, as it happens, I learned from Colin Dexter himself.
No, take a look. Go over there. The windows. The lights in the windows. See what it's about.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I suppose those do look like dots and dashes in the windows. They seem to say. Hang on, let me just write this down.
Here's a pad.
Stradide. Strideforth. It says my name. Strideforth. Get the body of your us ale. Get the body of your arse ale. And get the body of your assailant autopsied. Get the body of my assailant autopsied!
Well, the fellow who attacked you is dead.
But how did he die?
Backstreet pathologist here, chopped up in a jiffy.
Great! And we were off. On the way to a backstreet forensic pathologist with an impoverished army veteran and the corpse of a mysterious petty criminal. The pathologist's lab was a beacon of sterile examination lamps in a world of graffitied corrugated iron. She welcomed us in, dead body and all, on seeing Colonel Mops, although Scraffleguts had some reservations.
Are you really a qualified doctor?
Yes, indeed! Forensic pathologist and proud of it! Dr. Harriet Powerstar at your service, highly trained medical expert, proficient in a wide array of medical practice, both pre- and post-mortem. Also a decorated police detective, but, on becoming disillusioned with the hypocrisies of the legitimate world, was banished to this urban underworld, where I eke out a living performing gangland surgeries and sordid nighttime transplants. How about that?
Quickly satisfied with the doctor's credentials, we quickly set her to work on the cadaver we had quickly dragged in with us. I'll spare the audio of that. Apart from these highlights. Oh no! The bit fell off and put it up! Oh, not my leg! And then this happened.
Strideforth! Look, there's something here!
The unseen hour?
Don't know what you're talking about. Look at this, under the ribcage. This is where the lungs should be, and the liver, pancreas, heart.
Suddenly peckish.
But these aren't his internal organs.
What? But what are they? What is it?
Well, I've never seen anything like it. It's an entire boiled turkey.
That's right. The man had an entire boiled turkey where his heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, spleen, and stomach should have been. There were no other scars on the man's torso, and yet there's no way he could have been alive an hour before. His vital functions sustained by the action of a boiled turkey. Yes. Let me take a closer look at this.
No, you'll contaminate it.
No,
You've got
no,
to scrub in and wear gloves.
Never mind all that. There's no time for gloves. Let's get to the bottom of this, mister. Whoops! Daisies. Oh, no.
Well, that. Yeah. You've dropped on my textbook. Stand back. I'll put it safely over there.
Oh, that's horrible.
Rufus, look. The book you dropped it on. The juices from the turkey almost look like they've highlighted certain words on the page.
My God, you're right. It seems to be an anatomy textbook from the 1950s. There are spots of blood and grease over the words. To find the source of the polio cast. Visit 24 Aorta Square. Aorta Square?
Oh, there is an aorta square in Cadmus now.
Wait, there's more. And now, please welcome tracheal harmonist, odd word from medical textbook, Jonny Taylor. No, my mistake. That part's just turkey medical nonsense.
One, two, three, four, five. Are we rolling the whole time? I like it.
You gave me such a dirty look. That's not
Yeah. Okay, this is a song I wrote about the unseen hour of being lonely next to a massive lamp. And it's called Leaving Me, Annie. I wasn't sure if you wanted more to do with my life. The internet said we should be best friends. Does it all depend on our success? 'Cause it's out tonight. I wouldn't mind a pint, the window's open now. Come on, let me in. And if it's no for now, keep me suffering. You're always leaving me honey, never giving me any reason to love you, but I love you anyway. Dinner for one. I'm checking numbers on my pages while they're out having fun. And I must confess, from this address, trying to get close to you puts pressure on my chest. Windows open now. Come on, let me in. If it's no for now, then keep me suffering. 'Cause you're always leaving me honey, never giving me any reason to love you, and I love you anyway. Letting it out and keeping it in, letting it crawl across your skin. All of the ones you claim to know all turn around to let you go. You'd run to my side when I walk in, your elegant sigh and your careful grin. If all of the favors you've won all disappeared into the sun, windows open now. So come on, let me in. If it's no for now, keep me suffering. You're always.
We soon arrived, dramatically, at a grand house on Aorta Square. I started my recording device and knocked at the door.
Oh, goody. It's you. You're Rufus Strideforth from the Unseen Hour Files. Your show's just too cute. Come in, no. We have so much to talk about.
The Unseen Hour?
You guessed it. You're so smart.
The eerily attractive waif ushered us through a cool lobby to a sumptuous drawing room. Deep carpets, rococo furniture, drapes.
Tabir, bring our guests some tea.
The lady of the house, Mrs. Flack Dargyle, was a force to be reckoned with, or perhaps a force to be acquiesced with whenever possible. 6'2" in flats, with shoulders like an iron gate.
I brought you here to warn you about the people you're up against.
There's some very bad people.
Yes, how exactly did you manage to contact us? Because it seems literally impossible the way we've been receiving messages.
There's more at stake here than you would like to think. More at stake than you might ever believe.
There's an organization working against you. A dark and ancient society. The Obsessional Organization for the Engraving of Electrical Ontologies from the Outer Oubliette. Ooh.
How's your tea?
Oh, fine, thank you. No, I usually prefer it with just a slice of lemon rather than the... It's still a bit hot. That's
Tell us more about this obsessional orangutanation of embracing Rufus.
Scruffy?
It's the tea.
Scruffy! Scruffy! The tea. You've drank the tea! Saved once again by my impeccable standards of tea and sensitive teeth. What's your game here, you devious snakes?
As my companion says, Mr. Strideforth, there is a great deal at stake.
You're part of it, aren't you? You're the secret society. What was it? The obsessional organization for the engraving of electrical ontologies from the outer oubliette? Were you? Something like that.
Yes,
anyway.
actually, that's exactly it. You got it perfectly.
Yes, I thought so.
That's a very impressive feat of memory.
Thank you. That's because I'm a freelance professional investigative reporter. Yes, and you've all underestimated me. Now, tell me what you're up to.
Nothing at all. Certainly nothing in the attic.
You can't trick me that way. I deduce that there is, in fact, something in said attic.
No, come back.
You don't understand.
Okay, listeners, I'm at the top of the steps. I'm going to do it.
Hello, listeners. I have taken possession of Mr. Strideforth's recorder in the aftermath of what has transpired.
Vis-a-vis, the galoot barreled in here and I clobbered him.
Thank you, Bloomsbury.
What are you doing? Why am I so tied up?
Welcome to our little factory, Mr. Strideforth. You'll never guess what is made here.
The unseen hour.
Hot dog, you guessed. First try.
So is this where the cassettes are pressed?
That's right, this is where the cassettes are
I
pressed.
see.
Where relevant material is collected, crushed into paste, and molded into the complete recorded episodes of the mysterious podcast you're investigating.
The unseen hour.
It's starting to sound like a broken record, boss.
But that record shall be broken no longer, as we feed his body and that of his handsome accomplice into this machine, as their flesh is transmuted into plastic and magnetic tape. I think they will make our best episodes yet. Very self-referential.
But why? Is it records or cassette tapes? What's it all for? What does it mean?
Cry our listeners.
It is not for us to ask those questions. There is a pure, simple beauty in a task well done. That is our reward.
So that I have to know.
And perhaps you will. But not in this life.
No! Not Christ! Oh, Jesus Christ!
And so, Strideforth and his attractive friend are ground up into paste and reconstituted as obsolete media, which seems somehow fitting. Once again, Strideforth is denied an answer on his quest. How much longer can this go on? One more episode? Probably not more than one more episode. Find out at the next Unseen Hour. We hope that you were able to contemplate some beauty in the Unseen Hour episode 24, the Unseen Hour files. The Unseen Hour is recorded live every month at the Rosemary Branch Theatre in London, courtesy of Unattended Items. Check unseenhour.com for upcoming dates, both at the Rosemary Branch Theatre and at Vault Festival. It was performed platonically by Brice, Stratford, Joey Timmins, and James Carney, and featured a monologue written and performed by Luke Courtier. The musical guest was Jonny Taylor. Theme music by The Unrecorded. The Unseen Hour is an Unseen Things production, created, written, and produced by James Carney. And the podcast is produced correctly by Andy Goddard. Unseen Things will be at Vault Festival in Waterloo in London with both The Unseen Hour and a brand new play called The Thing That Came to Dinner. If we've kept a schedule, and you're listening to this episode on the release date, that play is on tonight, this very day, and tomorrow, if we're on schedule. Go to Waterloo immediately. Check on vaultfestival.com. Search The Thing That Came to Dinner. Immediately, do it now. We all look forward to seeing you here again at the Unseen Hour.
The next one isn't meta, so come back.